Okay. Hey, everybody. Welcome to day 3 of Silver in 6. I'm Tamara Holloway, Diamond Ambassador with Plexus, and I am so excited to be sharing with you all on this wonderful third day of our series. So, as I was brainstorming with some of my leaders, we came up with numerous ideas on how to rank to silver or how to teach others how to rank to silver. And so that is what this series is all about. Haven't the videos been amazing already? So much to learn, grab onto, and then go and implement. We are all about action steps throughout this series. So, as y'all know, silver is a pivotal rank for your new ambassadors that join because it helps build confidence, it helps build belief in themselves about this business. And that's important. The skill of follow up, it did not necessarily come super naturally to me in the beginning, but it has grown into a strength of mine over the years with a lot of trial and error, trying something and it not working. So I'm tweaking it a little bit, pivoting a little bit. And that's how you hone a skill, right? By practicing it, looking at it, and pivoting where you need to. If you notice something is not necessarily working, you got to try something else, right? So let's jump in and let's talk about intentionality in your follow ups. So, I would say 20 to 30 minutes a day of intentional conversations with potentials is one of the most important things that you can ever do for your business. It's important for you to realize, though, that the conversations that you are having today, they aren't always necessarily about today's responses. So you may be planting seeds, deepening connections, opening some doors, building trust, dripping some belief, and inviting them again, or maybe for the first time, to experience Plexus. But if you are consistent in your connecting and in your reaching out, then today's responses should be coming from the intentional conversations you've been having for the last 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, or maybe even longer than that. Many that have joined my team over the last several years, it could take up to 3, 6 months, and y'all, even some up to 2 to 4 years. In fact, Emily Burgess, a lot of you know her. Her video will be coming up in a couple of days. She actually rejected my samples back when I was a gold ambassador. Threw them straight up in the trash, didn't want anything to do with them, said no thank you. But she finally joined my business over 4 years later and then went on to become a diamond, one of the strongest diamonds on my team. So, after 4 years of that dripping belief and building trust with intentional connection and intentional follow up, she ended up coming on board. Now, is that always going to happen? Of course not. But the moral of the story here is that we have to continue to drip that belief, to build that trust, to build that rapport with continual connection and follow up, right? This business is all about connecting with people. Follow up is crucial. Most people don't say yes to trying Plexus until after their fifth, seventh, even 10th exposure to it. Think back when you joined. Like, how many posts did you have to see? How many times did you have someone message you? How many times did you think about the products or research the products or look at the business opportunity before you said yes? It is so rare to talk with someone one time and they join you, okay? In fact, I'm not sure if that's ever happened to me in all of my almost 10 years with Plexus. So that means that we have the power to create massive change in countless lives if we become what I'm going to call a professional follower upper, right? This is a skill set. So, yes, we are here to talk about ranking to silver in 6, but I could not go without saying that a day in and day out approach to connecting and building trust is crucial to the long term success of your business. It should be a part of your daily IPA, your daily mode of action. And if you're intentionally reaching out to others, just like Jessica discussed on day 1, then you're always going to have that funnel of people to follow up with, right? They go hand in hand. So let's talk about some follow up tips, some tangible things that we can talk about for the here and the now. So, my first question to you is, do you have a list of all the people that you've talked to about Plexus in the past? Whether that was a year ago, even 2 years ago, or a week ago, maybe yesterday. If you do not have a list of all those people, I want you to do that today. Like, number one, have a running list of those that you have dripped Plexus on so they don't fall through the cracks. Do you have a system for that? Let me tell you, way back in the day, you know what my system was? I would just pull up my messenger and I would scroll and look at names that popped up, open the message and go, oh my gosh, it's been 3 months since I said I would check back in with them. Or, oh my gosh, it's been 6 months. I cannot believe that. They were interested in Plexus and I let them fall through the crack. So that is what I did way back in the day. If that is the approach you're doing that you just hope you remember, it does not work. Take it from me. So, do you have a list? Do you have a system in how you are following up with people? Second, y'all, you cannot be attached to the immediate result. If your emotions are tied up in your initial responses, you will easily get discouraged, or maybe you'll become scared or hesitant to continue reaching out and to continue following up. No, don't attach your emotions to the result of that immediate interaction. Just move on to the next person. Hopefully, you have several people in that funnel from your reaching out, from your posting and sharing on social media, that you have more and more potentials to follow up with and continue to drip that belief and continue to grow that connection with them. Next step, listen more, talk less. The more questions you ask, the more likely that you are going to find out what their true needs are, right? The more questions you ask, the more likely you're going to figure out how Plexus or the business opportunity can help meet that need. So often, you guys, I see people dump Plexus on people instead of drip Plexus on people. Asking more questions and finding out what that true need is or that true concern is, or what is at the root of their interest, that is going to help guide you in what to share. Same goes for finding out what maybe their hesitancy is, or what they're skeptical about. A lot of times, the way I have moved conversations along is by just asking, hey, we've been talking about Plexus off and on for a couple of months. In fact, I did this with my last reset customer. Hey, I noticed we've been talking about Plexus for the past couple of months. You've asked a lot of questions about reset, and we've discussed that. Tell me what your hesitancy is. I know that there's got to be something that's kind of holding you back. And instead of her ignoring me, which she had done on my previous message, I just straight up asked her in a kind way, of course, in an approachable way, in a gentle way, but just showing her that I cared and that I wanted to understand what her hesitancy was so we can move forward. And come to find out, she was having a hesitancy. She was scared of how she would physically feel on the reset. She was scared that she wouldn't be able to do it. And so we were able to talk through what her actual concerns were and make her feel comfortable in moving forward, knowing that I would be there with her every step of the way. So sometimes it's as simple as not necessarily that they've lost interest, but there's something that's holding them back. So the more we ask questions, the more we dig in with them and dig deep, you can uncover possibly what is holding them back and then help them overcome that. So next, leave every conversation you have setting the expectation of when you will contact them next. So I want you to take this phrase out of your follow-up vocabulary. I've been saying this for years, so maybe some of you have heard me say this, but the sentence at the end that I've seen so many times that I used to use, let me know if you have any questions. So that was a phrase that I used to use often. Still see it often when I'm looking at, various team members' messages that they'll send to me, whether it's following up or even reaching out for the first time. A lot of people end with something like that. So I want you to take that out of your vocabulary, because instead of sitting back and hoping, oh gosh, I hope they have a question for me so that I can continue that conversation, let's instead set that tone, set that expectation, and lead that conversation like a professional. So an example might be, Emily, I can't wait for you to watch that video that I just sent you while your kiddos were napping. I'll touch base tonight to see what jumped out at you. Or maybe I'm headed out to dinner, but I cannot wait to hear what you thought of that testimony that I just sent over. I know you're going to relate to it because as soon as I read it, I thought about you. So I'll check in with you tomorrow morning. I do this simple thing, you guys, without fail. And anytime that I follow up with people, rather than wondering, oh gosh, am I coming across like annoying or too persistent? No, I feel confident because I've set that expectation. They know I'm coming back to check on them, right? And if they haven't watched the video or if they haven't read that testimony I sent, that's okay. I simply set the expectation again. No big deal. I totally get how time can get away from you. Happens to me on the daily. I'll check back in with you a day or two because I cannot wait to hear what you think about that triplex video. I really think it's going to help you with those issues that we've been talking about. And I'm just excited for you to learn a little bit more about that. All right, I'll check back in a couple days. Continuing to set the expectation, right? Okay, so here's another one. What you truly believe in your mind about reaching out or about following up or making those connections that will come across in your messaging. I promise you. Divorce yourself from that feeling of being apologetic. Your emotions, what you believe, it is contagious. So if you believe you're bothering someone by reaching out to them, or that you are being too persistent, or that you're not sure if they're interested, they're going to sense that. In fact, I've had numerous teammates of mine that have come to me. I've offered several times with people, like if you feel stuck, send me some of your messages. If you're not getting responses, send me some of your messages, whether that's follow-up or personal reach outs, and let me read through those. And one thing that I have seen over and over again was an apologetic tone. It just comes across, like you can tell through the message that they are not confident about what they're bringing to the table. Okay, so I want you just to ask yourself, if you're feeling that way, I want you just to ask yourself, why am I following up? Why am I reaching out? Why am I trying to help this person along? Maybe it's because you want to help your friend with some of her health issues. Maybe it's because you truly care about this person's future. Maybe because you know they're under a lot of financial stress. Maybe because you know they want to be able to stay home with their kids. Maybe it's because you know they have a deep dream to give a lot to a certain charity that they're passionate about. Maybe it's because you simply know that what you have to offer is valuable. And if they just got it and just jumped in, that it could really change everything in their life. So your posture, shake my shoulders here. Your posture and follow up, it needs to be confident because you know and you believe that what you are offering holds tremendous worth for those who take the chance. Their testimony is quite possible dependent on your follow-up. Let me say that again. Their testimony is possibly dependent on your follow-up and on your belief in why you are continuing to come back to them over and over again because you know what you have is valuable, right? How is that for convicting? Because I know that convicts me. Right? Even if as I was thinking through this, I thought, I could do a better job with some of my potentials that I have in my funnel right now. I could be a little more consistent in the belief that I'm dripping on them. And so it's convicted me, like Tamara, their testimony, what is going to happen in the next 30, 60, 90 days in their health or potentially in the business opportunity, that's dependent on what I am willing to do. If I'm willing to step out of my comfort zone, okay? So last quick tip that applies to really every actionable thing in our business, including follow-up, of course, is motivation versus discipline. Motivation is showing up when you're excited about something, when you feel positive emotions around your business, right? Discipline is showing up regardless of how you feel. So to be successful, to see long-term results, you have to be disciplined. Emotions fade, y'all. Emotions are terrible masters. Do not let them dictate what you do or what you don't do. A few months ago, I committed to doing 21 days of working out in like a 30-day period. And I kid you not, I was motivated to actually do it maybe twice. The other 19 workouts, they were fueled not by a desire to do it, but by my commitment that I had made to myself and to the friend that I was doing it alongside. If I would have let my emotions dictate my actions, I would not have experienced those results from doing those 21 days. Absolutely would not have done it. It came from a commitment to what I had committed to, honestly. There was not a desire to do it. If we only work or if we only sit down and do our power hours or our IPAs or reach outs or follow ups or any of these skills that we're going to talk about all throughout the week, when we feel like it, we're probably going to be really inconsistent. So I just want you to think about that. Like, are you committed? Are you committed to doing the hard things, to doing the easy things, to doing the daily activities that it takes to see long-term success and growth? And speaking of commitment, you guys, do you have someone you're accountable to in your business? Not necessarily a friend or a sideline or even an upline that you occasionally check in with, but someone who you give permission to really push you towards being your best, to ask you the hard questions possibly, to remind you of what you have committed to. If you don't have that, I'm telling you, you need it. That is a missing piece for you. None of us can do this on our own. And it is really easy to give up, or really easy to give up on something we've committed to when we don't have someone in the trenches with us, putting that shovel back in our hands when we lay it down. So here's my challenge to you for today. I've got a few. One, if you don't have a list of everyone you dripped Plexus on, make that first thing like we talked about at the very beginning. And next, I want you to create just a simple system for follow-up if you don't have one. Mine is super simple. I literally have my list of people. I've had that ongoing for years. And until they've ordered, they stay on this list. And I literally have them in a rotating calendar. Some is following up 3 days later. Some is following up 1 week later. Some is maybe 2 weeks. Some I have a list of they have said no for the last several follow-ups. So I'm going to come to them when there's some sort of fun special. Maybe there's a $10 off coupon or a $20 off reset, whatever the case may be. So you have to have some sort of organized system. Mine is super simple, nothing mind-blowing. Literally in my calendar, I have the names. And then when I follow up with them, I move that name, whether it's 3 days later, a week later, depending obviously on the conversation that we're in and the steps that we're in on the process of getting them to order or join, right? But you have to have that, because if there's really nothing worse than letting someone fall through the cracks because you haven't checked in for several months and then you finally do and you find out they just started Plexus with somebody else. Y'all, that's happened to me numerous times early on in my business. Numerous times I would be going through my messenger, haven't talked to them in 3 months, haven't talked to them in 6 months, reach back out, oh my gosh, it's so good to hear from you, Tamara. I actually just ordered from so-and-so like a week ago. Great. Of course you're happy for them that they're getting on the products, but the regret that you feel the regret that I felt because I wasn't consistent in sharing with them. So I want you to share below in the comments what that's going to look like for you. Or if you already have a system, share it with us. You may inspire somebody else. Second, following up, you guys, it's a skill. It is one that has to be practiced and tweaked before you feel super comfortable doing it. And if you've struggled with this, I want you, this is my challenge to you, is to send someone you trust and respect, whether that's a sideline, a sponsor, your nearest jewel upline, a power partner. I want you to send them three to five of your follow-up messages and then ask them for honest feedback. Give them permission to say, I really think you need to tweak it this way, or this right here feels salesy, or this right here feels like it's all about you and not about me. Ask them for honest feedback, and then that can help you tweak how you continue to move forward. Okay, that's a really important thing. Lastly, I want you to follow up with 5 people from that list that you have created. Connect with them, ask questions, be authentic in your interactions, drip belief about Plexus, drip belief about maybe the products that you've been talking about the reset, or maybe it's a business opportunity. And if it's been a lot of months, 3 months, 6 months, maybe longer, apologize. Own it. Apologize for not checking in with them sooner. I want you to start today evaluating what you can do differently in your follow ups. And then I want you to stay committed to that process. So that is a lot of challenge, but I think it's one of the most important things in our business. And I say that because it has changed my business. There are so many people that have ended up joining me, becoming customers, because I was relentless and committed to continuing to follow up with people. And a lot of people that ended up joining me told me, I've had several people talk to me about Plexus, but you kept coming back. Even when I wasn't ready, you continued to seek me out and to share with me. You continued to, they didn't say drip on me, but I was continuing to drip that belief about the business, about the products, and about my excitement for helping them continually. And so when they decided to finally order, it was with me. Okay, so I just want to encourage you. It's such a vital skill that we have to practice, practice, practice. Get help from others if you feel stuck. Ask for some feedback. I've done that for numerous people, and there's always something that I can find that I would say, you know what, I might tweak it like this, try it this way, because that's all we need to be doing, right? We need to be open and coachable in the different skills in this business. It's so important. Okay. Last but not least, another topic that I really wanted to cover with you guys was sealing the deal, closing the sale, so to speak. So if that's something that you've maybe struggled with in the past, I'm going to throw a video, maybe two, in the comments that I want you to watch, because that is also another really important skill to figure out. We've been talking about this for several months. I don't really know where to go. Maybe you need some closing tips on how to close that sale and move on. So I'm going to put those in the comments for you. I'm so thankful for you guys and your excitement around this series and your participation. I've gotten really good feedback already. Sometimes it's just really good to go back to the basics in our business, to go back to the things that lay the foundation for success. And that is exactly what we are doing this week. All right, sound off in the comments. Bye, you guys.